Psalm 127:3. Children are a heritage from the Lord, offspring a reward from Him. This suggests children are a precious gift from God to be valued and cared for.
In the United States, a child a minute is taken into DHS, CPS, and so on custody. The reality is their picks are already selected, you just don't know it. Being perfect no longer matters. It's what the adopting families are looking for.
Who is it stealing the children, you ask?
From caseworker to the White House, the buck stops at all levels, just not where it is supposed to be. The services your family needs, we the people have paid for to ensure your reunification. Title 4 says, reunify at all costs. United, we stand means nothing to us when it comes to family values. Children are being ripped away from their families. Parents are reverting to addictive behaviors to cover the pain. The trauma caused by child removal is just being recognized, and the results are atrocious. Termination of parental rights is not healthy for anyone, just profitable for the people enforcing the lie.
It's time Washington listens to the cries of our children, the wails of their mothers, and the rage growing in the fathers. These are our children. Keep your damn hands off them. We are coming to act on the behalf of the children God gave us to protect, and you kidnapped.
In the United States, CPS makes upwards of $3 billion per day on trafficking and selling our children. The corruption may start with the caseworker, but goes through the judicial system, passing the governor through the Senate and into the White House. The entire system has a hand in the business known as CPS.
Our children are stolen every minute of a 24-hour day. They are being robbed of their innocence, their trust, their happiness. As parents, we are isolated and betrayed by a government we trust. States are balancing budgets on kids' lives. Only 12% of the kids taken will be reunified. Title IV funding is being riveted with fraud.
Wow. What is up, everybody? I am CPS Punisher, and this is CPS Victims Hunting Justice. Happy Monday. Man, you know, I don't remember how powerful those videos are when I don't see them for the weekend, but then I watch them here in my studio, and they're just like thump, 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 and those sounds come out, and man, they really are screwing us. CPS, DBJ, whatever they're called in North America, they're screwing us every day. They're taking our kids. They're stealing our kids. They're not even taking our kids. They're stealing them. They're making us feel like bad people. And it's just uncalled for, and it's not right. And, you know, we need to push forward and hit them harder. We need to hit them in places that they don't see us coming, because we've all been doing these same things day in and day out. I want to thank all of you again for showing up here for this Monday night show. As usual, we got the chats right over here which are somewhere over here. I'm sorry, I'm getting used to these new monitors that are in here. They're very big, obviously. So, and I'm turning my head because I don't have it on the one in front of me. But there's the chat right there, guys. So put in your comments right there. We'll answer anything that you've got and that needs to be to answer. Tonight is Canadian Josie Monday, so we're going to be talking Canada with Josie and anything else that you guys want to talk about. So without that being said, let's bring out Josie and Melissa. I believe Melissa's here somewhere. But Josie, how are you?
I'm good. How are you, Darren?
I'm good. I mean, considering all that can be, you were on vacation this week, right? So you had a nice time before you have to get back to the grind.
Today is like we call it here in Canada, May long weekend. It's always like the Queen's birthday and stuff. So today's a holiday for us.
Oh, nice. So it kind of rivals our Memorial Day weekend coming up.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, same thing.
Wow. Did you do anything fun?
We went to the cottage.
Oh, nice. Everybody loves the cottage. Everybody loves cottage. Up here up in Maine, we call it going up to camp. So
exactly.
that's how it's set up here. But we all go up to camp on the weekends. Oh, here's Melissa. Come summertime, I mean, there's no better place than to be up to camp. Melissa, you guys got up to camp up there in Alabama? Melissa, she doesn't want it. She's mad. She's mad that you were at camp and she wasn't, Josie.
She got a new logo.
Yeah, we designed that for her over the weekend. I got to do a couple touches to it. She doesn't like the points on the end, or so she wants me to flatten those out for her and do a couple more things. But yeah, I think it looks nice, the MH for her.
I do too. I think it's cool.
Good. So we went to well, first I'll tell you this first. So Melissa and I, along with National Action Network, are going to put together a seminar in the month. A big time seminar for, fighting CPS is going to be, well, we're talking right now about a 2-day affair. I wish Melissa would stay in here and talk with us, but it's going to be in a month, and there's a lot of good things that are going to come of it. A lot of good information will be had. So we keep everybody posted for that. But
are you gonna go places, like to different places and talk, or what?
Well, at the start, Melissa, I believe, is going to Tennessee, and it's going to start in Tennessee and be live there. I don't know what's going to take place. I don't know how it's going to transpire. I know when we come up with the design at first, when we were at our previous spot, that was the idea of Melissa and I, was to travel and go to a bunch of different spots across the country. But we're looking for some, we're trying to get some lawyers and some named people up so that we can, make it an exciting couple of day affair. We don't want it to just be a draw, like a drag, like, here, let's learn a little bit of this, you know what I mean? So, those details will be to come. But yeah, that's definitely something to look forward to. We became certified advocates this weekend. Oh, Melissa, where are you? I wish she was here because she'd be sharing the story.
Really? What's that mean?
So, well, it means that we got a certificate. It means that we can advocate. We are certified to advocate for families in courts, to help them along their ways.
How did you do that?
We went to a weekend course. It was an online weekend seminar course that got us certified. I'm not sure exactly. Well, I know it was part of the National Action Network, but it wasn't them specifically. But yeah, we had a lot of good information, and we learned a lot. We'll be able to help people out now. Carrie's
can you go to court with the people now?
Yeah, I believe that's what that means. I'm pretty sure that's what that means, is that we can go and we can fight with these people.
Well, get your ass over here. Maybe you can have power.
Right, we could come we could come to Canada, right?
Yes.
Oh, Melissa. Right? Well, I don't see why we couldn't. Right? We come
and then you could just be my advocate, and then they'd be like, oh, okay.
Yeah. I don't see why we couldn't advocate all across the country, right? Carrie, you're watching. Carrie, can we advocate all through the country? Let's see if Carrie has anything to say about that. See if that does. But no, that would be way cool. There's Melissa. Here she comes. She's coming through the light. There she is. Melissa.
Hold on. Oh, hold on. Someone's saying hello to me. This is weird. Hold on a minute. I heard hello.
Hey,
Hello?
can you now?
There she is.
Allô? T'as perdu ton chat?
Oh.
Hey, can you guys hear me now?
Yep, we can hear you loud and clear, Melissa. You are in the building. So, Melissa, I was just letting them know about what we had not. Everybody left me. The show is mine. Yeah, so we are now official advocates, everybody. So, yeah, I know we got. Okay, Lawrence. Lawrence says nice. That means that you have more credentials than most of the. There, you're absolutely right, Lauren. Right? Some of them just have a pencil box and a pencil box and a sharpener, and they think that they can come in and take our kids. Right? It's ridiculous that they're just allowing people to just come in, kids out of high school, kids fresh out of college with no life experience, but we're allowing them to come in and remove our kids. It's disgusting, it's despicable, and it needs to stop. Don't forget to contact me too, abolishcps.com at gmail, and we'll give you that letter to start investigating, to send out to any officials in your area, whether it be your mayor, your local CPS office. I don't care where you send these to, just get the word out there that we know that you're collecting this money in fraud. We're guaranteeing that that's happening, and we want the IRS, we want anybody that is anybody to investigate them on their on the basis of fraud, and we got to start slamming these guys in the face. I mean, we really do, and it's so easy, and I can see the light at the end of the tunnel. I don't try to go towards it, but I will for this situation. I can see it coming, and I mean, we're close, people. We all just need to put in a little bit more time and just a hair more effort. I know everybody out there is trying as hard as they can. It's very, very hard to do this when your kid's missing. You know, it would be a lot easier to have your kid by your side, but we don't have that. So we need to just remember, stay vigilant with one each other, support one another. That's what's important right now, and that's what's going to make the difference between us and them and us winning, because we truly do care about our children and the people around us, and they don't care at all. They're all about the money. All they want is the bottom dollar. They want to put the kid's face in a little adoption book where you can go through and pick it out like a car, and there you go, off and running. That is a little tiny human being or a big human being, depending on what your age your kid is, that once had a home and a loving family and parents, and his life or her life was okay, and now it's not. So we need to focus on that, and we all need to realize that we are all on the same team. Even though we're fighting for the same fight and the same thing, it seems like all of us still are staying in that float about where we all need to convene into one spot so we can show our masses to people. That's very important, because we have no voice when we're spread out. They just pick us apart one by one. We need to get an amassed voice, people. This is very, 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 I can't even whatever the word is that I needed. I can't even say that. Express, yes, how important. Thank you. That was my daughter Bree in the background reminding me of words that I needed to say, but I can't express how important this is, that we all stay together. And that's why I call it Pack It Up. That's why we have this logo right here, guys. Let me see here, I'll show that to you. So whenever you see this, that means Pack It Up. And if you guys want to donate any money towards this cause, you can do it to the Cash App, or you can hit that QR code up there with your phones, and that'll bring you to where you can put the advertising. But there's the logo for Pack It Up and the symbol for it. So please, guys, check it out. Lauren's coming right from the gates at us. What do we got, Lauren? Lauren, so much fraud in her case, she says. Let me see here.
Well, I mean, fraud is a big thing that they play off of.
Yeah, totally. Welcome back, Melissa.
Yeah, sorry, I was driving through a dead spot.
Yeah. So Lauren says, he says 3 supplemental orders to transition her daughter home. All 3 orders were violated. Oh, that sucks. That really sucks. Because it's supposed to be such a good time transitioning them home. So I can't even imagine what they did or what they didn't do to make this a non-good time, but it's terrible. Josie, do you have any updates on your case at all?
Okay, so basically this week I went and brought my subpoenas for my witnesses for my court on the 3rd of June, which is in like 2 weeks. So
Is
that's
that
coming
for
up pretty soon.
is that
And
for
then and
the
then
attempted
for the
murder?
other case, it's going to be in July, but I don't
No.
have any news yet on that. So
No. Doesn't that suck? Just the waiting game, right? You know that the
it's the
baby's out
waiting
there.
game, 100%. Yeah.
And there's nothing more you can do to, speed it up, or is there? I mean, is there something that we can do to speed these up, Melissa? Is there any way to do that?
Well, there is a way to file to expedite something, but it has to be something taken a substantial amount of time longer than what would be expected. Like in my case, they stalled 2 years. I could file a motion to expedite. If that don't work, then I got to file a writ of mandamus with the Court of Appeals, asking them to enforce the judge to do it. So really, you have the right to write like a letter to the judge asking to expedite the hearing.
And we have these in play too, guys, by the way. Like we are actively awaiting answers. So, like we're not just living this process out of our ass here. My mandamus has been sitting in the Supreme Court for 4 months, and as soon as that's ruled on, we'll let everybody know, because we're doing this so that we can help everybody else follow suit with what we're doing. Melissa has things that she's doing. I have things that I'm doing, and we're going out of the box to try to get things that work. And the first people that be hearing this stuff and learning this stuff will be you guys, because we need to all come together. And I think if we can break through and make these people hear these things and these arguments, whether my mandamus works, if my mandamus doesn't work, then we know what doesn't work. And then Melissa, if it's her turn, she can go ahead and base off of that, or vice versa, whatever we have. But that's what we're doing. That's what we're trying to do, is come up with one solid piece of CPS paperwork. That way all of us can just come and take our kids home. And that's the idea.
I think too that we have to do a little bit like me, get out of family court and then go hold them accountable for criminal charges.
We need to do a lot like you, but what we need to figure out, Jose, is how to do that in this United States.
Yeah.
Because we need to figure out, because what do they call it up there, what you did?
A private prosecution.
Private prosecution. And that means that you were able to press charges, right, against them?
Yes, well, that's the thing that is still unknown, because we go back to, so I filed it, and then it got pushed back, and then I go back to court, and that's when they said, oh, it has to be like private publication ban, blah, blah, blah. So I don't know if technically they're on charges now, or if he's only going to do it the next time we go to court. That it's still there's still unknowns, but I know I have a court date in July.
Oh, that's awesome.
So,
right. Well, how do you plan on, well, first of all, does your other case have any other ramifications to one? If something happens in one, are you screwed on the other, or are they going to be both completely separate?
No, completely separate. But now the thing I'm scared of is that they're they're against the same people technically, right, but they're two different things, right? Because the one that's happening next in 2 weeks is them trying to say that I did a death threat, right? And then right, the private prosecution is me filing it for basically taking a minor under 16, like kidnapping, which is pretty much what I'm charging them with, right?
Right.
So it's under our code, it's criminal code 280 under the criminal code of Canada.
Yeah. And that's called private prosecution, right?
Well, private prosecution is what I'm doing because I have no lawyer, and I'm doing it as a citizen, right? Like as a Canadian.
Okay.
So it's everybody's human right to be able to do it, because I can't go to the cops, I can't do anything. And then in the form that how I got the form was I went to the courthouse and I asked to file a private prosecution, and she just handed me the form, and on that form there was different categories. There was like terrorism, blah blah blah, and then
Terrorism.
it had like criminal code 280. So I just checked the
You
box and I filled it in, and I sent them the subpoena with it on, and then they gave me a court date, and that was it. It was pretty easy. If I would
Right.
have known a lot before, I would have done it right before. I wouldn't have waited, but it took
Right.
me like a year to find this solution, right? So don't
One.
wait, just do it.
Right. One is better and that's the other thing, guys. Don't hesitate. If you feel in your gut you need to do something or something's going, don't make sure you act on your, like how that gut makes you feel, because your gut is usually right. So make sure that you don't avoid that for sure, especially with these CPS stuff. So make sure and then observe your surroundings too. All of these things are very important when you're dealing with CPS, when they're in there and they're investigating your house. If they're doing something wrong, like make sure that you remove them. Make sure that you ask them to leave without a warrant. Trust your gut, trust your instincts, and every bit of everything that's going on in your CPS case is very, very important. Writing things down, doing all of this, because Josie kept impeccable notes. I'm assuming, right, Josie?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so she can go into these courtrooms now, and it's very easy for her to come in and say, X, Y, Z, we did this, so now I want to do this private prosecution, so on and so forth. So, guys, it's very important to get yourself books. Write down everything that happens in these books. Put them in chapters, put them in a table of contents. As you can see mine, I have boxes and boxes and boxes of these things, of all my memoirs, if you will. It's so important to keep next to you, because if they call you, you want to put it down, make a note, blah, 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 blah. Talk to CPS today. They said everything looks good. Boom. That easy. Put that away. Because now what you have is you're going up there and you say, how can everything be going good on these 5 days? But then all of a sudden the caseworker says, nope, we're going to, like Lauren was saying, all of a sudden their transition stuff is being run right over. But why? Why, when on these days did they say that this is a good idea to start this transition? Why were they screwing these up and saying that it was the opposite? So it's very important, because if you're going to go ahead and start pursuing an offense on these guys, you need to make sure you have the ammunition. Like, that's a big part, right, Josie? Making sure that you have the proper fight in you to go ahead and push forward. What did they ask you when you went to do the private prosecution? What were they asking of you when you went in there to set yourself up for that?
Honestly, nothing, because everybody in the courthouse this is the first time it's ever been done. So everybody's like, what the fuck did we do?
Yeah, so you're right in here on board with all of us.
So no, but like even in the courthouse, they don't even know what's happening. That's why the first time I went to court, and I thought it was going to be the showing my book of proof, right? The judge was like, oh, and then they're like, we need to push this back because he needs to read up on it because he doesn't know how it goes.
Right.
You know what I mean? So like, it could be in my favor and it could not be in my favor, right?
But you'll have everything that you need to defend if they say something against you, or and because listen, I go through my stuff, and I know Melissa's had the same conversation with me. And I'm sure it's the same for you, Joe. We've gone through this over and over and over and over and over again in our heads, in our daily lives, all of this. So we start to lose what we were missing, like what started these things. And you go back and you look through these notes and you're like, whoa. Wow, I can't believe I skipped this step, or I didn't do this, or, like things that were very important. I'm like, why didn't I look through all the books, and find it out? But so my bottom line with that one is keep your
or you have my problem where you've taken notes on everything 20 different times and you've got so many piles of notes that you still can't find nothing.
Yep. Oh yeah, I mean, how
I
often
mean,
do you guys?
I think we've all answered our own cases at least 10 times. The
Yeah.
problem is it's hard to follow through because you have so much to lose if it goes wrong. But like
But
my
I
one
also
attorney friend tells me, he says, you know what? He says, Melissa, he says, the case is already broken. You can't break it.
What does that mean?
Well, okay, so all cases are worked with the purposes of termination and adoption because that's where their money is. Right?
Right.
So
Yeah.
the case is already broken because they took the kids for the purposes of adopting them out because that's where the incentives are. So with that being said, nothing you say or do is going to harm your case because they're already looking to terminate your rights. They're not looking, oh, let's offer you this, let's offer you that, let's reunify. No, they want to divide your home so that you are now no longer financially stable. Then they want to turn around and make it so that you have to come to visits and whatnot on the most inopportune work schedule. So now they're fucking with your income. They're dividing the family unit. They're doing all that because by destabilizing the American family, now you meet the grounds for termination.
Bruh.
When they took your kid, you did not meet the grounds for removal, let alone termination. But by the time they're done dividing and playing the game, you meet the grounds for termination.
Right.
So
Well, like
your case is already broken. You can't break it.
Last week, I finished watching Nancy Safer on YouTube. Holy
nice.
crap, eh?
Mm-hmm. She's a machine, was she not?
Yes. But I can't believe she died a few months later.
Well, believe it. I mean, that's what happens when you speak out in this country. Another heart attack or murder, suicide or something. They're not letting you get away
It
with
was her husband.
Right. No, I know that. What I'm saying is that's every time.
No, actually, Josie, it was not her husband. Her husband was a paraplegic.
Yeah,
he was a disabled paraplegic that she was taking care of. They just blamed him for it because what are you going to say? Oh, the other senator went over and shot her? No, You got to blame someone in the family. Charles, the constitutional attorney, he used to have a partner that was challenging the core existence of what gives them the right to do what they're doing on constitutional argument here in the United States. Okay. Yeah, put a strap on that. Anyways, she wound up dead. She wound up dead. And they did not do an autopsy. And they did not try to do an autopsy. And he talked to her sister. And when he talked to her sister said, we had to waive the right of autopsy because we knew this was going to happen. And if I have them investigate, I'll be next.
Yeah. It's pretty scary stuff. It really is very scary. Sorry, my kitties.
Because you're challenging the core existence of the income for the city, state, county, country, province, territory, whatever your area is named. When you challenge them head on, you challenge their income. Which, speaking of challenging income, I have a meeting in the morning. I'm going to go challenge their income.
But last week you had a meeting too. How did that go?
It actually went pretty well. Like, the woman was actually sympathetic to the cause. And I even told her that I was an advocate. I told her all about this show. I told her that I'm on here giving advice to families all over the country and then I can fix everyone else's case but my own because I'm dealing with a dipshit judge. And she straightforward told me she's interested in getting to the bottom of this and that what's being done is bullshit. So I have a meeting with her again tomorrow to show her even more information. And hopefully, by the time we go to court in 2.5, 3 weeks, she will be enough on our side that she can keep a leash on the department's attorney. I can raise holy hell, and maybe my kids will come home. Well, that'd be the July hearing, but we got to start in the June hearing because the June hearing is the argument for the foster placement. And the lady told me straightforward, I will not be bullied by a GAL. They don't run my company. They don't have any authority here. And I'll be damned if she's going to tell me where a kid's going to go. And she says if we move him again, we're going to move them home.
Oh, wow. That's pretty cool. That'd be very nice.
So, yeah, that's kind of what I've been told at this point.
Hey, you got a second meeting. That's positive. That's great.
Yeah, no, I sent her an email and said, look, I need to give you all this information and stuff. And she says, don't worry, Melissa, you know, I do see you as a human and you do have rights.
Yeah, well, maybe they're finally getting someone that gets it, you know, and I mean, that would be great. But I mean, who knows if that's just going to be another ploy? I hope not, and I pray not. I hope that she really is going to be out there for you and doing that stuff. But man,
yeah, but honestly, I mean, I don't see how it could be a ploy because they've already got the upper hand. They're already winning. Like Richard says, this case is already broken. There's nothing I could tell them that they don't already know. Now I just have to show them my story.
Right. And hope for a little bit of, you know, maybe a little compassion too, right? With a new regime in there, and maybe they'll see something that the other ones didn't see, or maybe they won't be as hungry to take your children as they were, you know, back then. I mean, of course you have a lot that's weighing on yours as well. But
I think part of it is the fact that this is a interim director. This is not the permanent director. So it's not like this is money coming out of her pocket.
Right. Well, that's the other thing is, why do they protect these? Why do they go after these CPS agents go after these families like it's their own interest, right? Like it's their money that they're defending, their pockets, you know, and it's not. They forget that they work for the people, you know, like where do their hearts and their compassion go? Like I would think that the ideal person for the caseworker type job would be a mom, you know, with multiple kids, possibly someone that was in the system before. That way that they know, you know, like not to do these things, right? You know, like they would have that feeling of what it's like to be lost in the system or do the bad things, you know, an education for sure, and maybe even have their own kids. Because I think that the thing is these caseworkers are so cold and so class that they just shut that off. They don't have any empathy for the people that they're going up against. You know, like there's no sympathy, there's no empathy. They don't care if they hurt your feelings. They don't care if that baby was a gift from God. To all of them, to all of the caseworkers, that thing is just a bonus to them. It's what they consider to be a bonus. So they don't care. And those bonuses are so important that they don't mind going out and ripping out the hearts of every young and newborn American along with their parents, you know, or Canadians at that matter. You know, like it's just, they just don't have the right people with the right criteria to do this job. I don't believe that. How do you feel?
You know what happened to me this weekend is that, like, I'm in the campground, okay? So one of my neighbors at the campground is actually a neonatal nurse, okay? But she lives like maybe an hour and a half away from where we have her camping. So she works kind of like remotely, and most of her clientele at the hospital is indigenous people, right? Okay, native people. that come to our hotel. And then we were talking about a birth alert and what happened to my daughter and stuff, right? So we were talking, and I said, have you ever had to do a birth alert because you work with a lot of Native people? And she's like, yeah, one time it's happened before. This girl came in at 14 and she was Native, blah blah, and then she didn't want to, like, we had a conversation, blah blah, and then she told me that like when we wanted to write like who the dad was on the birth certificate, she told me, she's 14, and she told the nurse, she goes, it's my grandfather, I can't write his name on the birth certificate, right? So automatically her as a nurse was like, oh my god, this little girl is being, she's being,
Trafficked.
her granddad is touching her, blah blah blah, and having sex with her, like, obviously. So what does she do? She called CPS. Okay, and then I looked at her and I said, well, that didn't mean that she wasn't going to be a good mother to this baby. Like, you don't know what you just did. And then I'm like, and then we had a conversation, and I'm like, do you believe, you as a nurse, you give good resources to these children? And she's like, yeah, we give coupons and like, not coupons, but we give like flyers if you're having postpartum, and they talk to them. And I'm like, as a nurse, have you ever called those numbers to those resources and see what they actually give? And she's like, no. And I'm like, you see, that's the problem. I said, all those resources that you give to the new mothers, I've called them and I tried to ask for help, and they do nothing. So so her, and she's like, oh, like, she didn't see it that way. She thinks that that's what she's taught, right? She's helping this young girl not to, like, be touched by her grandfather, and like the baby's not safe, but like they also traumatized her. Maybe she wanted this baby. Like, it does, like, we don't know. They took the baby. CPS came at the hospital, stole the baby, and she doesn't know what happened after.
Wow.
Like she's not
That's
a bad
crazy.
person. She thinks she's doing what's right and doesn't realize the other side, right?
That's it. That's why I'm saying that they need to get on board, and their experiences don't need to be that in the classroom. They need to be on real life. Like, these people need to experience motherhood or
when you guys go do your seminars, remember to do hospital staff.
Yes.
Let them see the other side. Let them see, like, the impacts of that one call could make to a family, right? Yeah, it was, at least she listened. Yeah.
That's freaking awesome. Yep. I'm trying to look here, see what I have for Nancy Schaefer clips here that we could pull up. I'm trying to find one so I can show you about her passing. Let's see. The disturbing, heartbreaking reality of Child Protective Services. Whistleblowers. Melissa, do you want to tell them a little bit about what we learned or what we did over the weekend? I told everybody a little bit, but I said I'd wait for you to finish it up, and she's gone again. She's having a problem apparently tonight, huh? Herbert, how are you? Let's bring Herbert in.
Fine. How you doing?
We're doing good. You got any you learned anything this weekend? What do you got going on?
As far as CPS, yes. I learned big time that the states are definitely, there's a lot of differences on how things are handled, but there are some things that are handled similar. But I learned that some states are more lenient than other states are hardcore.
Okay, what do you mean by that?
Oh, for example, let's say something goes on with mama and papa at the house. CPS gets involved. They'll say, who's your next of kin? We're going to have the children go with them. CPS is saying that. They don't take the kids.
Okay.
I've heard about that already, talking to people.
So what are you saying? Then what are you saying goes on?
What I'm saying is going on is that I think CPS should be kind of like federal policies and procedures across the board. Because what I hear going on in your state and Melissa's state, Jonesy's country, everybody's wiggle waggled.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I can think of one case in New Mexico where, for sure, I felt they would take that child away from a mother that's not competent to take care of the child. What they did was they provided the mother with help.
Right.
They didn't take the child away. Like the mother was more or less on the spectrum. So they didn't take the mother away. They just provided that mother with help to teach her how to take care of her child.
Mm-hmm.
Other states, they won't do that.
So where do you go to find this information out about your states there, Herbert? You know that answer?
I make phone calls. I make phone calls.
Right. But in most cases, you can go to the, oh boy, my brain's going to freeze up on me right now. It is,
You'll be surprised, Darren, you'll be surprised in the middle of the night, I can call CPS hotline in Wyoming, the hotline, and I'll get someone and I'll have a friendly chat with them.
mm-hmm.
I tell them I'm part of a group and we're looking into, I don't use the word abolish. I say I'm with a group that talks about CPS and I'm learning about it. And I want to know in the state of Wyoming, what things do you do in this case, in that case, and how does the police handle situations and blah, blah, blah. And they'll tell me on the hotline. In other words, that's their 911. So I'm calling CPS 911.
Yeah.
Because if I try to call CPS to talk to somebody after hours, I'm not going to get anybody. But when I call their 911, I'm going to get somebody. And they're friendly. And they give me answers.
Let's see. Yeah, no. I mean, they're supposed to have someone on 24/7, I believe.
They do. Every state has somebody on 24/7. Like if you just call any CPS state, any CPS department in any state, they say, if this is an emergency, call 911. If you have to report this or report that, press 1 or press 2 or whatever. So I press those numbers.
Yeah, so that's good.
So I'm just learning that, and that's why I'm on the bandwagon of I would like to help teach people how to stay off the radar of CPS with their children.
Oh wow, that'd be good. That would be really great. Herbert, that's good stuff, man.
Stay off social media.
Stay off the radio. Stay off the Jonesy. Stay off the radar. In other words, do everything right to avoid getting picked up or seen by CPS. Or avoid people calling on you.
Just be a good parent.
That's really it in a nutshell.
But
Well,
even good parents get caught.
We tried that.
That's the problem.
Right. That's it only goes so far. If they're gunning for you, then they're definitely gunning for you,
If they're gunning for you, is because you're on their radar.
Yeah.
So how did you get on? You have to ask, how did I get on their radar?
I was not a bad parent.
I know. Neither was I.
No, you guys were not bad parents, but something you guys did that put you on their radar.
Yeah.
So that's what
in my county it would be my skin color.
Oh Jesus, let's not go there again. We just did that in that seminar.
Well, it is factual to my county.
Yeah, well, we'll leave that one.
And it actually opened up the idea of some case law that everyone will be able to use on a national level, just based on that link you sent me, Darren, where it gives the national
statistics for the right.
Children and care.
Right. Yeah, the amount of kids. Right, it's crazy. It's crazy the amount of. Right. I think we lost. Where did we do? We lose Josie there?
No, Melissa, like you said, it has to do with your skin color, right? Hello?
Yeah, now it's just down to me and you, Herbert. Back to me,
In my
everybody.
county,
So Melissa
my
was
county,
saying it
they
had to do
seek
with
out.
her skin color. And I believe Melissa in her environment. But if she went to if she went to Arizona, New Mexico, it wouldn't have nothing to do with her skin color. If she was in New York, it would have nothing to do with her skin color.
Right.
So
It's-
every place, what I'm learning is that every place is different.
No, I mean, it's no different than you being a cop, Herbert. I mean, it's just like, you know, in some areas you're going to get more robbery. Some areas you're going to get more murder. Some areas you're going to get nothing. You know, it's just the way it goes. You know.
Well, that's what I was saying. But I'm talking about dealing with children being taken away by CPS.
Right. Correct.
See,
But
that's what I'm talking about. So,
right.
you know, like the child is born. So you have a child, the child is home. There's no CPS involved. Okay. As things go on, something happens, and now you're on their radar. So my question is, what has happened to put you on their radar?
Right. I see what I understand what you're saying. It could have just been a speeding ticket with a kid in their car, and then they say, let's get a hold of CPS because this person was speeding with their kid in the car. There's a bunch of ways that it could come down to you that CPS gets involved in your life.
Yes.
Things with mandated reporting becoming such a big part of even all of these professions now. You don't know where that your involvement might be coming into play. Whereas before it was, you know what I mean? Like mandated reporting has put a new angle into all of this stuff. So it's almost even harder to protect yourself.
Yes, except for one thing. Within the last year or two, they made it a misdemeanor now. If you try to, because you want to, mess with your neighbor, and they're not doing nothing with their children, and you call up anonymously and say that the kids are being beat up by the parents and blah, 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 they got your number as soon as you call. Right. And if they found it's unfounded and there's a feud going on between you and your neighbor, you call about your neighbor, you're going to be charged with a misdemeanor. And that's in every state. That's something that's across the board.
So can you guys hear me now?
Yeah. You know.
So that's something that's across the board. You will be charged with a misdemeanor. So, that's what's going to happen if you falsely report an incident to CPS. When did that start, Melissa? Maybe she knows. Melissa,
what, in Texas about the
no.
false
all
reporting?
Over the United States. All over the United States. Why don't you start with Texas or Mississippi or Alabama? If you don't know the other states, they made it a misdemeanor if you falsely report an incident to CPS about somebody. It's recent. It's really recent because when I talked to Arizona,
that occurred about 6 months ago.
Yep, that's how recent it is. Yep.
Yes, correct. It's been in the last 6 months. Texas was the first state to institute it, and within the last 4 months, the other states have started stepping up to argue false reporting.
Yep. Hey, Darren, Carrie is saying some stuff. I can't read it. What is she asking you?
She has been saying these things that I've been saying. So I'm trying to remember. I'm trying to see here where she's at with some of these. She says, Herbert, stop asking the question. No, I'm just kidding. She says, thankfully, I know my rights and the cops responded instead of CPS. And know me and know my son is autistic. And he made sure CPS didn't show up over it. But it was just Karen calling on nothing. So, a parent calling on nothing is what I'm guessing that she meant there. So that's good. But if she had a cop that was against her or had a hair across his behind, he could have very easily gone under the rules of mandated and the legislatures of mandated reporting and called and said that there was some sort of a domestic issue in this house at this time, and you need to come and handle this tomorrow when they come back into work or whatever. Or if it's an emergency situation, they have them come out, a couple of caseworkers right then come out and take your kid during the middle of the night.
And honestly, Darren, to add to that note, they want to make it a misdemeanor if you or I call and report something and they deem it false. But what happens when the cop makes a false report? Because through his government-issued immunity, he would be immune to a direct attack from, his own government agencies, unless it is something that really meets the level of criminal.
Right.
And that's the biggest problem, is we have false reporting by nurses, doctors, teachers, social workers, cops, because it's a bully tactic. I mean, really, that's what it boils down to. When are they going to be held liable?
Right. This thing started out way too. All right. So, Melissa, do you want to just talk about what we were talking about? Maybe let Herbert in on it too a little bit about what we're talking about for the seminar coming up?
Yeah, sure. Since I have good service for the second being. Pretty much, we haven't got a date picked yet, but we want to do an advocacy training program, our organization in alliance with National Action Network, to do a nationally recognized certified advocacy training, to where we're not just going to teach you what clothes to wear going into court, what things to say, not to say, how to know when to speak up when they're violating your rights, but also how to file the basic motions, how to understand your court documents, how to look up your procedures, and the things that you need to know to be able to stand up and fight your case and know your rights and know that you're doing the right thing, because you know how to look up the procedures. You know how to look up the case law, and we're looking at doing two different types. We're looking at a basic advocacy group, which would be a one-day program, but then we will do an advanced advocacy if someone is looking more towards starting their own advocacy organization, to where they're going to the courts, they're going to all of these places, and actually standing up and fighting for parents. And that second day is going to be a more in-depth legal understanding, enforcing the policies, knowing how to do judicial complaints, how to do bar complaints, the things that families need that they don't know how to look up.
That's something else. It's going to be good stuff. And the more of us that keep going out there, the more we'll be able to spread out, because our plans for long term are start to spread like wildfire, right? Like we want to start opening up avenues for all these other states, right? Like that's what we're...
Well, so National Action Network has something like 156 locations across the United States.
Yeah.
And if you are trained to be an advocate and to work with them, when you by yourself are not enough manpower to stand up and fight, you can call the closest branch within that state and ask for the reinforcements. Learn how to look up the other advocacy organizations, team up together, and throw the fight down like it's deserved.
Yeah, I like that. I love it, and I'm so glad that Cheryl and all them invited us to go with them and to move forward with this stuff for the seminars and stuff. I'm excited for that because our message is solid. And you and I have been working together on this for a long time. And we're just ready to get out there and have more people get exposed to this. More people know what is going on amongst, like with our group and what we're fighting for. It's going to be pretty awesome. It really is going to be really awesome.
Yeah, and honestly, with the program we did, it was bad, and Cheryl was actually very disappointed because she thought Free Hearts was going to do a much grander scale program and be a lot more professional than they were. At the end of the show, it was funny because the main instructor actually walked up to Cheryl and said, "Wow, your people just taught me a lot."
Well, that's pretty cool. That's really cool, actually. That must make you feel good, right?
Ernie?
Let's see here. I'm trying to come up with a. Let's see. I'm looking for a certain news article that I can't. Let's see. Plus 5 more. Go, baby. I don't know. Maybe it's not listed. I don't know. I'm trying to find this video on Nancy Schaefer, and I just can't find it. I'll make sure I queue it up for tomorrow night's show. That way we can have it for that. It's
and honestly, what people, what we could ask
here we
our
go.
team of viewers and everything else to do is if there's things that they would find important that they want to learn in training, like certain procedures, certain how to fill out subpoenas, anything that someone feels would be beneficial to them, that would help them in their case, help them do whatever, drop us a note, drop us an email, drop us a text message,
Right.
drop it in the chats, because we want to make this program what parents need it to be.
Right.
Because that's the whole point of the program, is to get parents on board and involved in a way that they can take their broken case and they can find the ways to fix it.
Right.
Because our attorneys are not going to do that.
Right. And not only that, but it's like we need to get also people into this that don't have CPS involved in their lives yet. Like this, it needs to be a thing for people who aren't affected quite yet. Because it's not a matter of if, it's when. Like everybody could mess up somewhere on the line, just in life, and CPS is going to come pounding on your door. So everybody needs to get this into their mindset that it's not just certain people or certain types. This is everyone they're after. And if your kid fits what they're looking for, then guess what? CPS is coming for you. So this stuff needs to be shared and spread through every person that is either thinking of becoming a parent, that is a parent, that's a grandparent, any of those things. They should all think about getting in on these courses and getting themselves educated in knowing what they need to know if CPS comes to their door. Because once it gets to that point where you're like, oh, well, you're gonna try this, it's too late. Like they're already in, they've infiltrated, and now the game for fighting to keep your children is full-fledged in, and you didn't even realize it at that point. So that's also it's definitely if you're hearing this and you have friends that are involved in CPS, make sure you get them in touch with us. That way we get them in there too.
Well, and honestly, even if you don't have friends involved and you want to do the humanitarian thing and get involved to start helping people because you're one of those people that feel that there's an ultimate calling, or you've prayed to God and God said that was what he wanted you to do. Either way it goes, you want to get involved, we'll teach you what you need to know to be able to prepare your documents, go to court, and everything else you need to do.
Yeah, that's awesome. I'm excited about this. I'm excited, and like guys, this is. I don't mean to be a broken record, but all of this stuff comes out of our, our own personal things here. So if you can help us in any way, you can Cash App us. My Cash App is going on up there at the screen, the rolly screen. It is money sign GFY JDG 2021. And also you can go up here into the corner and it says support the show. Go ahead and do that. Click that, and you guys can, donate a couple dollars there if you can. Any little bit helps, guys. Every little bit of anything helps. Even just sharing this to a friend will help. Let's just get our stories, our mission, what we're trying to do, get that message out there so people can start paying attention to when and what and how they need to get involved. But yeah, that's about all I got to say about that one.
Well, and honestly, like I say, Darren, if this show goes off good and we get a lot of people involved and we see there's a real interest, what we're looking at doing, and this, Nashville is going to be, I guess you could say, the test run. And then if it goes well, we may go to one of their other states, one of their other locations, and throw the very next month and do a training there. Because I don't care if you need me to go to California and train 2 people, and those 2 people save 10 families. It is worth it.
If those 2 people save 1 family, it's worth it.
Right. Exactly. So realistically, what we're looking at doing is we're looking at making this a monthly event all over the United States through National Action Network. And I mean, why not? There's a lot of families out there that need help. We need to help them.
Yes, we do. We won't let any size, no monetary, no color, no race, no anything get in the way of who we will help. That's a fact.
No. But honestly, if people do want to play the race card at the local agency, you're getting, you're black, you're getting bullied by white workers, then absolutely play the race card, because in constitutional law, the biggest, the most powerful card to play is actually the race card. And if you're a white person and you're in an area where you got all black workers, like I do, Cheryl, who is a wonderfully smart, brilliant woman, and, she's black, she told me, she says, Melissa, she says, play the race card. We're smart enough to do it. Why aren't you?
Right. I mean, that's an opinion thing. I don't want to get in on that.
Well, and honestly, after she said that, I told that to Charles. Charles got to looking. There's something called a federal removal. It's almost like a federal injunction. But see, with an injunction, you have to ask for permission, and then they move your case over to the federal court if the permission is granted. Okay. Right. But if you do a federal removal, then it's automatically moved over, and they have to prove that it's not race induced in order to get it remanded.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, so it's a much, much stronger argument to do it that way.
Yeah, really is. You're right.
So, I mean, hey, like I'll repeat again, like Richard said, my case is already broken. I am past the 15 of 22 months. Actually, I'm sitting at 25, 20, 20, 25, 26, 27 months on my case with no hearings. I got the fosters challenging me for termination, not the department.
Can't
My
believe it.
case is so far broken that most attorneys look at me and said, "What the hell is going on?" So you know what? I'm going in the morning. I'm going to lay it all out on the line, and I'm going to put the whole case out to her. And I'm going to tell her, "You jump on board to fight on my side, or you fight against me. I don't care, but I'm not stopping."
No, that we will not. We will not. Let's see here. All right. Well, I can't find this Nancy Schaefer thing that I was looking for. I'll make sure I bring it up tonight when we get off here. So I'll have it for tomorrow, guys. So make sure you stay tuned with us tomorrow, because what I'm going to show you about the Nancy Schaefer case will just blow your mind. The conspiracy that's in it and everything. So we'll play that for you guys tomorrow night.
Right. And let's bring Herbert back in and see what questions he has about the seminar.
All right, Herbert. Oh, where he keeps going. Everybody keeps dipping out. I can't get him. Oh, there we go. Herbert. There he is, bigger than life. And there he went. Back forth, back forth.
You there, Herbert?
Herbert is here. Herbert is here.
He's got the.
Hello?
Well, Herbert, you have some feedback, but outside of that, did you have any questions about the seminars we're going to be starting?
No, I heard that it's going to be starting. I also I know it's going to be online. Am I correct?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. What I want to know is what hours are they going to be, or is it recorded?
Well, I mean,
No, it will be live, but we will try to schedule it in a way that, being that you're so many hours different, that you'll still be able to tune.
Okay. Just let me know what the hours are based on your time. Then I could determine it based on my time.
Yeah, we'll still work out. We got to work out. This is fresh. Make sure everybody gets it.
Just let me know what the hours are based on Eastern Standard Time.
Okay.
And then I'll know what the hours are based on my time.
Right. It's good stuff. All right, Melissa, we've reached that time. Let's do these last words. I don't know where Josie went, but she's not going to do these with us. So last words, Melissa, from you.
Never quit fighting for your kids. You are their hero. You are their protector. Department, divide your family and stand up for what you believe.
Hell yeah. Damn right. Good one. Herbert, what do you got for us, buddy?
But for people who may be listening, try to avoid getting on the radar of CPS. Try to do everything the right way, the right things. You can contact Child Protective Services. They will give you the playbook on what they expect out of you, because I already did that. I actually sent it to you, Darren. I don't know if you received it.
I got it.
You got it? Okay. So they gave me the playbook on what they expect out of parents. Just go along with their playbook, and you won't get on their radar.
Yep. That's good info. And I'll get that. If you guys want to go ahead and email me at balls.com@gmail.com, and we'll make sure we get you guys that too.
I sent you the link for the CPS stuff, right? You send it to Melissa.
Yeah, no, So, all right, guys. Thank you guys very much for tonight. Joseph, thank you, wherever you are. You've left us, but no problem. Thank you. Tomorrow night we got law enforcement night, but we also have. Yes, I gotta get reverb on her, but I'm gonna get you out. Tomorrow night's law enforcement night. Woof, sorry, that reverb was rough. So we got that going on, but we also got William on. William, if you want to get in touch with me and you want to come on the show tomorrow night, that would be awesome. So we can get your story out. So email me or hit me up on Messenger. Either way, ballercps.com at gmail.com. Get in touch with me that way, and let's get you up here so we can get your story. Guys, stay tuned for that because it's one hell of a doozy. For everybody else, I'm the CPS Punisher. I'm out of here. Have a good night.